Good afternoon and thanks for tuning in. I'm Holly and you're watching 𝐊𝐶 TV live from Sydney. We'll be looking at a few recent updates from ASX listed companies along with a quick glance at developments across equity and commodity markets. Lights, camera, this is the stocks in action. Onto the first stocks that are under the spotlight today. Shares of ASX listed IT service provider Empire were trading flat after it announced a managed services contract with the Environmental Protection Authority of Victoria on Wednesday. The contract has an approximate worth of $52 million, with a value of around $8.8 million per annum. Empire will provide a range of modern digital managed services across Environmental Protection Authority's cloud platforms, networks and business applications, which are predominantly Microsoft-based. Empire will start the transition of services over the course of the first half of financial year 2022 and expects to have all core services in place by January of next year. Meanwhile, the core activities of the Environmental Protection Authority will include protecting human health, setting and reviewing environmental standards, supporting businesses with guidance, compliance and enforcement, and managing the works approvals and licensing system, as well as environmental auditing. So all important work there. And also making headlines and trading up by more than 3%, CIM Group, the construction and mining services firm, today announced its financial result for the 6 months to the 30th of June. CIM reported a net profit after tax of $208 million for the first half financial year of 2021. It shared group revenue growth of 10.6% as well. The company has seen a robust revenue growth in Australian construction and services. Its earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization margin were 10.1%, while profit before tax margin was 5.4% and net profit after tax margin was at 4.5%. CIM Group's free operating cash flow pre-factoring improved substantially compared to the half yearly of 2020. It generated free operating cash flow pre-factoring of $51 million in the second quarter of this year. The company also declared an interim dividend of 42 cents per share, representing a payout ratio of 62.8% on the half yearly 2021 result. The company has a net debt of $272.2 million. And next in the news is Sensor Networks, a leading sensor AI solutions provider. Its shares were trading flat after the company shared on Wednesday that it has completed the acquisition of ScanCam Industries on the 20th of July, which was announced earlier in May. This strategic acquisition will let Sensor launch its solutions into the retail business vertical. The company will start the process with ScanCam's current client portfolio of national fuel retailers. Fuel theft is a globally recognized problem in which costs Australian operators approximately $60 million in losses every year. That figure right there is no laughing matter. But the acquisition is likely to add around $3 million in revenue to Sensen's overall revenue profile for the financial year 2022. And it is pedal to the metal for Atlas Arteria, the global owner, operator and developer of toll roads, whose share price was trading up after the company reported its toll revenue and traffic statistics for the June quarter of 2021. Data shows encouraging signs of improvement compared to May, following the easing of COVID-19 restrictions in Europe. Its weighted average traffic was 68.5% higher in the second quarter of this year and in 2020. Aligning the weighted average toll revenue was 57.3% higher, significantly impacted by COVID-19 restrictions. Compared to the second quarter of 2019, unaffected by the pandemic, weighted average traffic was only 18.9% lower, and weighted average toll revenue 13.6% lower in the second quarter of this year. All this thanks to Europeans hitting the gas on travel as it frees up in the continent. And just before the break, we've got news coming in from minerals and tech company BBX Minerals, whose stock was trading flat. It has received a conversion notice for the convertible loan facility with Drake Special Solutions LLC on Wednesday. Its shares have issued a conversion price of 8% share. Post-issuance of these shares, BBX Minerals does not have any further obligations under the loan facility unless a further drawdown is made. And now it's time for a short break, but stay with us because I'll be right back with more trending updates for the Australian market.
Crypto talk by 𝐊𝐴𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞. The crypto market has been red hot given the Bitcoin rally since the past year. And now the most famous cryptocurrency has got competitors, 𝐊𝐷ogecoin and Ethereum. If the crypto market excites you, tune in with me, Sage, to know the latest developments about the existing digital currencies and the new ones that are joining the race. I'll help you understand the opportunities and the risks the crypto market has in store for you. For all the digital currency related developments, continue watching Crypto Talk by 𝐊𝐴𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞.
Welcome back, I'm your host Holly, live from 𝐊𝐴𝐚 Studio, and you're watching the stocks in action. Let's zoom our lens now through developments across equity and commodity markets, starting with the ASX 200 performance. The S&P ASX 200 is up on Wednesday, gaining 1.34%. The top performing stocks in this index are Pilbara Minerals, which is up 4.30%, and CIMIC Group up a clean 4%. It's winners all round as all 11 sectors are higher today, along with the S&P ASX 200 index. A-REIT is the best performing sector. Time to zero in on some global developments and their effect on the global market movements. On Tuesday, US stocks surged in the overnight trade following a heavy sell-off in the previous session, as fears of investors over rising COVID-19 cases eased. The Dow Jones rose 1.62%, while the S&P 500 gained 1.52%, and the Nasdaq Composite added 1.57%. The 30-year Treasury bond yields were up 3.53%, while the 10-year bond yields increased 3.74%. In the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin is becoming a loose change as it traded on a weak note in the overnight trade. The popular cryptocurrency fell below $30,000 for the first time since the 22nd of June. And onto the commodities space, gold remained primarily subdued in the volatile trades on Tuesday as the dollar strengthened. While the spot gold price has changed only a little, the US gold futures ended 0.1% higher. The most traded coking coal futures on the Italian bourse for September delivery rose as much as 3.2%, the highest since the 13th of May. Coking coal futures settled up a square 2%. And benchmark copper on the London Metal Exchange was up 1.4% after falling 2.2% on Tuesday. Lastly, on a global development, crude oil prices inched higher on Tuesday due to increased market participation to take advantage of crude oil's low prices in the previous sessions. September delivery crude oil futures traded 0.55% up, whereas September delivery WTI crude oil futures traded 0.55% down. Alright then, that is just about all for now, but stay tuned with 𝐊𝐴𝐚 TV for more live market updates. We'll be back with more news on markets, economies and diverse themes and sectors. Holly Shields signing off.